So, today is Monday, June 25th, and it's about 5 o'clock. This is going to be the first tour of the year. Now, here in bed number 1, what we have are zucchini that I grew from seed. This variety is called Dunja. It's from, I think I got the seed from Johnny's actually, but the reason I got it is because it's supposed to be resistant to powdery mildew, which so far appears to be so good. Let's see if we can zoom in down here. We do actually have a couple of fruit growing. Here's one here. Another couple ones over here with the flowers not. Obviously the flowers have dropped off. Second plant over here. And I think there's one. Yep, there's one down there. And there's one right there. So that looks a lot better than it did last year. I actually had corn in this bed that really didn't do a whole lot, but apparently has fixated the nitrogen pretty well because I have not fed these all year, or all summer I should say, and they're looking like this. Let's get this weed out of here. I hate having weeds on video. Okay. Down here, ruby red watermelon with the aforementioned, you can still see here, this empty 1 liter water bottle that seems to be all the rage now that I've posted about on gardening in Massachusetts as well as my site. It's a little too bright right now for the camera to actually take video of this technique, so when I come up here tomorrow morning before work, I'm going to actually try to do it over there in the cucumber bed, and I'll actually show you from putting the water in the bottle to plunging it down in the soil, because a lot of people have doubted that it actually drips out as slowly as the plant needs it. And they say, you know, well, you take this bottle of water and you plunge it directly down into the soil, what's stopping it from dripping out all the way? You would actually be surprised. So tomorrow morning I'm going to see if I can actually shoot a video about that. So over here, broccoli that seems to have just stopped growing for whatever reason. It's might be the weather, but it's gotten to be as tall as it is, and then it's just stopped. I did zoom in this one here this morning. I'm not going to try to disturb the plant too much, but there was a small bud in the center. They just don't appear to be growing the way I would like them to. And at completely the other end of the spectrum of things that are growing much more or much better than I expected them to are these snow peas. These are from Johnny's as well. These are called Super Snap. These are supposed to get to be 4 to 5, maybe 6 feet tall, and then start producing. And this is actually spot on. The poles are not even, they're too strong, or maybe the poles are too weak for the plants, because now you see I'm going to let go of the pole and everything just kind of falls. But they are prolific. I mean, we're up here. I've been picking these just about every day. There's a couple you can see there. Another cluster over here, cluster of 4 here. So these are definitely a keeper. These will be in the repertoire again next year because I am very impressed with how they're doing. I'm just going to get a better support system. I did not really think that peas were going to be this good. You know, here we are, Sunday's July 1st, and we still got them coming out everywhere. So these are definitely, if you're looking for if you're looking for a prolific snow pea, I am definitely going to recommend these because the heat doesn't seem to bother them either. Like I said, it's about 5 after 5 now. It's probably about 83, 84 degrees up here, and it has been consistently in the high 70s, low to mid 80s now for about 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks, and these don't seem to be affected by them in the least. As a matter of fact, even these ones that are sprawling down here, let me see if I can get my hand behind them, these ones that are sprawling down here are still producing. Okay, bed number 3, green bell peppers here. I did do the water bottle technique on this back plant, and there was a fruit growing on it. I can't really see it now, but you're going to have to take my word for it. It was there. They all seem to have blossoms. Here's one. And, oh, I'm sorry, it was this plant right over here. We'll get in here. See the pollinated flower right there, as you can see by this brown right here, indicates the flower has been pollinated and the pepper will soon be coming. Over here, Brussel sprouts. Again, These actually I cheated. I bought these already. I bought these start from the garden center. Put these in, let's say, I think it was the end of May, Memorial Day weekend, and they did get hit a little bit with cabbage worm. You can see on this one right over here, but that's nothing that a little BT didn't take care of. And you can see now 1 month in, move these leaves out of the way. For those of you who have never grown Brussels sprouts before, they actually grow in the petiole, if you can see. I think I just got my hand instead. But they grow in the petiole of the leaf and the stem of the plant. You can see it actually, if I could point to it, you can actually see it right there. So as the plant grows, what you're supposed to do is take off these bottom leaves here that naturally dry up and fall off, or they're supposed to fall. Some of them do fall off on their own, but if they don't, you just give it a little bit of encouragement, with the idea being what you're going to end up with at the end of the year is a plant that looks like a palm tree with absolutely no leaves, just buds all up on the stalk and a cluster of leaves here up at the top. Now, some people have said, you know, I've heard and seen posted a lot of times, my Brussels sprouts plants are extremely tall, but they don't seem to be producing any buds. Well, if you can see right here in the center, I moved the leaves out of the way. Right here in the center of the plant, this is called the crown. I'm not going to do it here because these plants are beautiful, but if you pinch this out right here, you're in effect stopping the vertical growth of the plant, and then everything, all the plant's energy will then go into producing the sprouts. So if that's happening to you, where your Brussels sprouts don't seem to be growing, that is what I would recommend doing, is taking the, like I said, this is called the growing point or the growing tip. I would pinch this out. Don't cut it, but pinch, because you don't want to damage the plant. Just pinch off the leaves, and that should stop the vertical growth, similar to the way that if you were to cut off or pinch off the end of a cucumber vine, you're going to stop the lateral growth of that and put everything into developing the fruit. And speaking of cucumbers, we'll get there in a minute. So, my wife had wanted strawberries for the longest time, and last year the gentleman across the way from us in the community garden ended up with way too many. So when he thinned them out, he gave them to us. And we ended up with, he gave us I think 18 plants, and if I zoom across now, we probably have close to 30. And we came up here and we picked strawberries just about every day. My guess are going to be that these are June bearing, because like I said, here we are at the end of June, they're just about done. But next year, I hope that this bed's going to fill in even more. As a matter of fact, we'll come down here. We see some of the runners have already started to take root. Well, that did until I pulled it up, but that will, let's push that back down. So, and that is how strawberries spread. I'm sure all of you don't need to be told that. They spread by runners. In fact, here are some coming out of the bed here. So, yep, hopefully next year, actually, at least this fall, I'll be able to get in here and pull all this grass out of here so they'll have more room to grow. Right there, let me see if I can zoom in. The one lone sunflower that came up, I had 3 that I planted. The birds got to them beforehand, so, hey, what are you going to do? The birds got to eat too, right? So, those are Kong, also from Johnny's. I absolutely love Johnny seeds. These are supposed to get to be 12 to 14 feet. Never actually got them that high. Last year had, 2 years ago, this last year was crap. 2 years ago we actually did have some that got to be about 9 feet, but then they stopped. But hey, you know, a 9-foot sunflower was good enough for me. Oh. All right. Over here, you see my tomato, whoops, and that is in way too close, Eric. There we go. Okay. So over here is my tomato bed. You've seen pictures of this, no doubt. You've also, if you haven't seen the video of how I do this tying up of my plants, you can go to our YouTube channel, which is, well, just search for Blackstone Valley Veggie Gardens Tomato Support, and you will see how I tie these off with slip knots. And, you know, I go through the entire procedure, you know, soup to nuts, from tying the plant off at the bottom to tying it up at the top, and also how to loosen it and restring it as the plant gets bigger. So that's that. Over here, not a very good year for carrots. Normally in a box like this I can get about 24, but apparently it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, only 10 of them came up. So, But that's still okay. The spacing is still good enough, maybe except for these two right here. We should get decent sized ones. And I never really have too much luck with carrots lasting more than a day in the fridge anyway, so I guess maybe it's best. Okay, over here. Where did this bottle cap come from? Okay, over here, kale. And I cheated again, started this from seed. Excuse me, no, that wouldn't be cheating. I did not start this from seed. I started this from plants grown at the nursery. Zoom in back here. These are actually pickling cucumbers that my son started at daycare. And he could not wait to get them planted up here, so I put them in for him probably about a month or so ago. And that's with only the first seed leaves out, but that's about where they're at now, just waiting for the tendrils to come out. So that's the first look, and what I'll do is I will go around and show the rest of this in a later video. For more tips, or if you have any questions, you can send us an email at blackstonevalleyveggiegardens@gmail.com. Thanks.